All right, Martin Popoff here, back for another solo show musing here. This came out of a little bit of an exercise that I'm part of this industry email group, and we all started debating, ranking the Led Zeppelin albums. And oh, you're crazy, and you're crazy, and no, that's ridiculous, and why do you have that so high and that so low, kind of thing. So, and then as these conversations do, many dozens of emails, it moved on to a little bit of Sabbath in there, and I sent in one of these mixed lists. I haven't done one of these for a little while. I've never done this exact one, but what I did is I mixed the rankings of the first 8 Sabbath albums with the Led Zeppelin albums, and that's what this show is about. So we are going to rank Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath in the 70s. It's a nice tidy situation because they both have 8 albums and roughly, offset by kind of a year, right? We've got an overlay of these two bands, and these bands are always complained, and Sabbath fans are saying Zeppelin is too oldie and moldy, and Led Zeppelin fans are saying Black Sabbath fans aren't sophisticated enough, and nor is their band, and all this kind of stuff. So here we go. Let's rank the Led Zeppelin albums. By the way, you can still get my Led Zeppelin book. This is where I go through and review and analyze every single Led Zeppelin song, including all the stuff on the reissues. You can get this at martinpopoff.com. I'll sign them, send them out, PayPal buttons, all that sort of stuff. And of course, I've got my Sabbath books as well, my 2 Sabbath books that tell the story of the band. So, okay, at number 16, I've got Led Zeppelin. I really get a lot of heck for putting this album low on the list, so obviously it'd be on lowest on my Led Zeppelin list as well. I have a case of the olds, right? I have this situation in my mind, in my disliking of these albums, that I find the older material of many of these bands a little bit clanky and depressing. And I feel that way about Led Zeppelin. It is absolutely groundbreaking for early 1969. You can check out our whole episode on this in the Who Invented Heavy Metal series. But yeah, it's a little too close to the British blues boom, a little too close to the British folk boom, a little too close to borrowing older songs and redoing them. Just a little bit too bluesy for me. Number 15, I've got Led Zeppelin 2. Same kind of reason. I think it's an improvement. We've actually got a Led Zeppelin 2 episode as well in Who Invented Heavy Metal. I think it's an improvement. It's a locking down. I think you get a very, very important early heavy metal song in Whole Lotta Love, as well as Livin', Lovin' Maid. The acoustic stuff's nice on it as well, but still a little too bluesy, a little too hippie fried for me. So I've got Led Zeppelin 2 at number 15. I've got Black Sabbath at number 14. And again, same sort of thing. I think this is the one place where there's still a fair bit of blues in Black Sabbath. We've got a whole episode on this already as well. And this is the first heavy metal album. I totally agree with everybody else on that. This is a groundbreaking, super important album with NIB and The Wizard and Black Sabbath, the song. But it does have the warning on there. It's got a lot of jamming. So I've got it fairly low. I do find it fairly depressing. I don't actually play it very often. Number 13, I've got Led Zeppelin Presence. So Presence is one that a lot of people complain about. It was kind of rushed. It was a Jimmy Page guitar-y album, ostensibly, right? But I don't think the production's particularly good on it. People love Achilles' Last Stand, but I think nobody's fault but mine is a better track on there. But there's not a lot of highlights. Not a lot of different songs on it as well. 1976 Led Zeppelin Presence. Number 12, I've got Led Zeppelin again with Houses of the Holy. I quite like this album. I mean, I like all these albums a lot. These are 2 of my favorite bands. But Houses of the Holy's got the immense Song Remains the Same, the immense Dancing Days, love Dancing Days to death. The Ocean, our band in the 80s, Torque, we played Ocean. I like the grunge. I have no problem with the grunge. I have no problem with Jamaica. Good stuff on here. No Quarter. I think it's a pretty good album, and it was a bit panned at the time. I'm not crazy about the production. I'm not crazy about any of the Zeppelin productions, other than more or less In Through the Outdoor, which comes next. 11, I've got In Through the Outdoor. So this album is the last Led Zeppelin album. It's the lightest Led Zeppelin album. It's one where John Paul Jones took over a fair bit of the reins. I like the production on it. It's the best production, but it's still weird and still not particularly great on an objective level. But I really like the production on here. It's a production quality that you hear on Jimmy Page Outrider. You hear it a little bit on The Firm. You hear it on a little bit on Detective, believe it or not. But yeah, really cool, big boomy kind of coagulated sort of sound out of the guitars. But I think it's pretty cool. I rate Carousel Alhambra as one of my top probably 5 Led Zeppelin songs. I think it's great. Number 10, I've got Black Sabbath Paranoid. Now, Paranoid, again, has the old and clankies for me. It's not an album I play that often. I find it a little bit harsh and mid-rangey. Obviously I'm a little sick of it. I'm a little sick of War Pigs, Iron Man, and Paranoid, but yeah, a lot of good material on here. It still has a little bit of that wayward, jammy, hippie quality, a little bit of that Vertigo, progressive rock, acid rock, underground rock vibe that I'm not particularly crazy enough. So to recap for the bottom 10, I have two Black Sabbath albums, and we have gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the Zeppelin catalog already in the bottom 10. So Zepp fans, let me know what you think of that. Number 9, I've got Led Zeppelin again with 3. 3 has 2 of my very favorite Led Zeppelin songs on it that make my top 5. And I often rank these as 1 and 2, actually. Celebration Day and Friends. I appreciate Immigrant Song as well. And Out of the Tiles, I like the acoustic side also on this album. But it's got a little bit of that uncommunicative, murky, old sound to it as well. I got a lot of stick at the time for being not particularly heavy. Number 8, I've got Vol 4 by Black Sabbath, their 4th album. And this is kind of like same kind of thing, a little bit of the old and murkies, a little bit wall of sound, just riff after riff. They talk about having kind of like an increase in sophistication of arrangement on here, but I don't particularly ever hear it or remember it. It's just got a bunch of big, dense, gluey, doomy songs on it. And for some reason, they most of them get lost in the shuffle for me. I don't feel the fame of Snowblind or Tomorrow's Dream or some of these songs, right? So yeah, and I think it was the first Sabbath album I ever got, possibly as a new release back in 72. So I would have been 9. But I do remember it was the first album I ever got by the band, right? Number 7, I've got Never Say Die. A lot of people put this record down, but I always have a lot of time for it. I love the brash, noisy production values. It reminds me a little bit of the Presence production values, actually. And I just have a lot of time for some of these really cool songs on here, like Shockwave and Swinging the Chain. And I love the title track with its audacious, weird, slashing angular chord punkiness to it, or straight chord. Maybe not as so angular, but yeah, just I just think this album has a real sort of desperate vibe to it. I love the craziness of Air Dance and Breakout on here. Yeah, pretty much everything. Junior's Eyes I like as well, but mainly Swinging the Chain and Shockwave are my big favorites on this album. Number 6, I've got Led Zeppelin 4, or Untitled, or Zozo, or whatever you want to call it. Absolutely unassailable classic. It's got so many big songs on it: Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Stairway to Heaven, Misty Mountain Hop, right? When the Levee Breaks. A lot of variety, a lot of interesting stuff going on here. I usually kind of downgrade a little, and then I have to remind myself that it's so early in the catalog. It's 1971, right? So for a 71 album, there's a lot going on here. You compare this to another band, I keep forgetting how early they are, Alice Cooper Group, and I think it just kind of blows Alice Cooper out of the water. But it's one of the biggest, most important albums of all time. And like I say, a lot of ideas. Very cool. Number 5, maybe this is travesty, having heard what I just said, but I've got Technical Ecstasy above Led Zeppelin 4. Wow. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Obviously, you are hearing a lot of personal preference in this list. So this isn't by any stretch of the imagination consensus, but I think this is a beautifully recorded album. It sounds so good, so powerful, so much brightness and so much bottom end. I love the guitar tones on it. And kudos to Tony Iommi for producing it. He did a lot of work on this album. And I love, Dirty Women and Gypsy and All Moving Parts Stands, Backstreet Kids. Really, really cool. You Won't Change Me. It's All Right is good on here as well. I just think, it's Led Zeppelin. It's Black Sabbath being a little more commercial, but that's fine with me. It's still very dark and doomy. I mean, there are relationshipy songs on here, but they're still so totally, totally doom on here as well. You think of She's Gone, just like a dirge funereal ballad. Absolute classic. Number 4, I've got Master of Reality. This is the one album by a lot of these bands that escapes the olds for me. I don't care that it's 1971. I just think it's just got such a big, warm, gauzy guitar sound, and every single heavy song on here is an immense sledge of metal. Just absolutely charming and accessible and well-written doom. It's just such a difference between the songwriting on here and on the first 2 albums and on Vol 4, as far as I'm concerned. And I love Orchid. I love Embryo as well. I think they're great, cool. They're great as well. Solitude. So yeah, any of the mellow material on here, I really love as well. So yeah, there's nothing on this album I don't think is absolutely great. Number 3, I've got Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. So the band's 5th album. I love the amount of ideas on here and the textures and, the mellow tracks on here, like Looking for Today. I love that completely creepy album cover. So this is really doomy and druggy sounding. I just think there's so much more personality and emotion poured into these songs over and above Vol 4. Things like Killing Yourself to Live and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, completely amazing. Sabracadabra is great. Metallica covered that song. This is just a good, complicated, strange, slightly progressive. I think that gets overtold, but a lot of weird, interesting ideas on here. It's just out there. It's zany. It's bizarre, right? Number 2, I've got Physical Graffiti. Led Zeppelin Physical Graffiti. I've often called this my favorite album of all time, because actually these top 2 albums by these 2 bands, I do toggle back and forth as my favorite albums of all time. Physical Graffiti, I've often called it the aircraft carrier of rock albums. Just so many ideas. It's a double album. The production, like all the Zeppelin productions, is not great. It's very mid-range. It's very visceral and attacking in the mid-range. But crazy amount of ideas. I always have Kashmir and In My Time of Dying as 2 of my favorite songs of all time, along with the song Houses of the Holy. I love Sick Again on here. I love Wanton Song on here. In the Light, Trampled Underfoot, everything. So many switchbacks and just different cool things that they're doing. A lot of long songs as well. Even though it's kind of assembled by, from a lot of older ideas and older songs and across a lot of sessions, I think they've taken the care to make everything sound like it was all done at the same place. I never, growing up with this album as a kid, ever thought there was anything ununified about it. Which is hard to do on a double album, but I think they did a great job of just showing the genius of the band. I think finally, once and for all, in terms of just how much versatility and great ideas they can have. Because on here, you're not getting a lot of derivative stuff. Basically, everything is a really cool new zany Led Zeppelin kind of idea. I think definitely not a lot of blues or anything like that on it. And number 1, the greatest album of the 16 albums of Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath in the 70s is Sabotage. I'm going with Sabotage because I just think the creativity level on this is insane. I often quip that it took Black Sabbath 1 album to do what it took Led Zeppelin 2 albums to do in 1975. You think of Superzar, you think of the Rit, Megalomania, the immense crazy guitar tones on here. I love the production. It's so powerful. You think of Don't Start Too Late, that crazy little like it's an insane Spanish guitar kind of piece. Love Thrill of It All. Every single song on here is just loaded loaded up with creativity. You think of how Symptom of the Universe starts one way and ends in kind of like a Santana jam. It's this is a real white knuckle Black Sabbath album where they are, they're getting sued all the time. They're having they're arguing with their management. Things are a little bit on the wane. There's drugs, there's drink. They're probably tired all the time. They're probably running on fumes and adrenaline, right? This is why I call it kind of a white knuckle album. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. It's like I say, it's the greatest album ever made by anybody, and Physical Graffiti is the second greatest album ever made by anybody. So there you go. I'm going to run through this list again. Number 1, Sabotage. Physical Graffiti second. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath third. Master of Reality. Technical Ecstasy 4. Never Say Die. Vol 4. 3. Paranoid. In Through the Outdoor. House of the Holy. Presence. Black Sabbath 2. And Led Zeppelin. My ranking of all the Zeppelin and Sabbath from the 70s. Please like or hit like. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit like if you liked this review. You can join our Patreon situation. Gets you onto our panels. We've got merch. We've got a Ko-Fi situation. You can check out my audio podcast, History in 5 Songs with Martin Popoff. In our series where a lot of Sabbath and Zeppelin are covered in our series, Reliving Old Reviews as a Useless Tool of Confusion, and so far in our series about who invented heavy metal. There you go. Go listen to some Black Sabbath Technical Ecstasy.